All right, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is our weekly Precision Markets office hours. We host this on a weekly basis so we can be able to answer any questions that you have regarding either topics such as what is a chalk, or if it may be certain things such as strategy based or anything chart related that you need to see. It's basically a space to be able to make sure visually you're able to get answers to any questions that you may have, further your understanding of any topics. So what I want you to do is go ahead and in the chat room and put any questions that you may have that you haven't had a chance to get answered, whether it be through Discord or anything that you see, and I will go through them in an order, and then Nathan, myself, will answer any questions that y'all may have, and then we'll wrap up and have this video up on the Precision Markets training site up for the next 48 hours for you to review. So go ahead, everybody, and ask any questions in the chat that you may have.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to share a chart or anything, maybe you've got a question about today's trades or whatever, feel free to share your screen as well.
All right. So first things first, Arun. Hey guys, did I pick the right candle for entry here? Give me 1 second. I'm going to click on your link. And so that everybody also knows, I'm going to share my screen so that y'all can see that as well too. There we go. All right. So your question is, did I pick the right candle for entry here? All right. What are your thoughts, Nathan?
Okay, so let's see. So we had a reaction. This candle took out the reaction. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect
I think
entry.
I think you did fine, Arun. I don't see anything that I would have changed specifically. And as long as you're making sure that you're doing what's following your plan, you can't go wrong. That's the best part about it. So
Yeah,
you want
for
to
sure.
be mindful of the characteristics. So the candles won't always look the same, and the entry won't always look the same, but the characteristics of the entries should be the same across all of your winners.
For sure. If there was another option here to take, definitely, we can see that we had some sort of reaction before the continuation just there. So if you actually decided to even take this move right before the impulse down, that's totally fine as well. For me, I like to go for these candles here that take out the reaction, the exact one that you have here. But as well, this is totally fine to take. You'll see a lot of those go.
Thanks so much, Arun, for your question. All right. Next up we have is Jack. So last week, Nathan briefly touched on insight bars from a question I had, but I was wondering, could you show an example, explain how to use this as a confluence in a POI? Nathan, do you want, I can enable screen share if you want to share your screen and just kind of walk Jack through that.
Yeah, sure. Let's see.
Give me 1 second. Okay, you should be able to share your screen now.
So I'll just add this indicator now. And awesome. Okay, so let's take a little look over here. So when it comes to inside bars, all they are a range on a lower time frame. So what do we know a range as, right? Usually it is a supply or demand zone before expansion. So let's see if I can get an example here of an entry area. Let's see, maybe there was one this morning. Okay, awesome. So you can see here, let's see, right in this area right here, we had these sell to buy wicks here. This could be used as an entry zone as well, because this is a range on a lower time frame. So it can help whenever you're searching for a zone to trade from. Now, I wouldn't trade off them all the time. as it could be a better entry candle that took out a reaction from another area. But if you are stuck from a zone, to look for a zone, then an area like this here is actually perfect. So that's a really good example there. Just don't trade them off. Don't trade off them all the time, because they will not work all the time. Let's see if there's any other examples here. So really the only time you want to use them is if you're stuck for a zone and you have an inside bar that somehow makes sense within, the thought process of your trade. And yeah, that's really it. Like you can see there's times here where they actually don't get mitigated. This one here got mitigated. So you just use it as an extra confidence if you're looking for a zone, if you're struggling to find an area to actually enter on. But outside of that, that's all that was mentioned with that one. Let's see. Does that answer your question, Jack? Sorry, I thought it was a different person that was asked that there. Awesome, Jack. Okay, Brian, do you want to take it away to the next question?
Sorry, I was trying to find my button to get off of mute.
Yeah, no worries. I was thinking.
All right. So next question. I apologize. I'm not going to try to pronounce your name because I'm going to mess it up. So I get swept out after chalk in 15-minute POY and create V-shape. How do I avoid that? Is it best to wait for market to create flip? Can you, I guess, perfect. Got a chart for us as well. Hold on 1 second. Let me load this up.
I guess he's talking about the extreme in the 1 minute chalk if it doesn't have a flip.
Okay, give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna share my screen so we can see the example. Okay. So I get swept out after chalk in 15-minute POI and create V-shape. How to best to avoid that? All right. So let me give y'all my honest answer behind this. Chalk is a powerful concept, but that's not it. Like there is a hierarchy of what you need to have happen before a chalk happens. And so it works off pretty much like this. Can y'all see my whiteboard?
Mm-hmm.
The very first most important thing you have to get right is direction. Direction is more important than anything that y'all do. It's not based upon direction is not also partially not tied to market. It's partially tied to market structure, partially not. And I'll explain to you why. The second piece is market structure. Then the third piece from there is point of interest. And then from there is chalk, right? Chalk and flip, or we'll say just flip. It doesn't really matter. So it basically works like this. If you don't get direction right, and let's say, for instance, you get direction wrong, then that means the market structure is probably going to be wrong. The point of interest is irrelevant, and your chalk and flip is definitely not going to be right. Then let's say, for instance, you can get direction right, and let's say, for instance, your market structure is wrong. Well, you still can have a chance of getting the point of interest correct and getting the chalk and flip correct because you're going in the right direction. But let's say, for instance, your direction is, let's say, for instance, your point of interest is wrong. You take the wrong point of interest, but you had market structure and direction correct. Then you're going to have more likely your chalk and flip is going to be correct, even though you didn't use the right point of interest. So when you first look and get down and start looking at this, you have to ask yourself, I'm going to go back to a screenshot. you want to start looking at it first from the lens is, did I have direction correct? So let's go back and let's go take a look at GBP USD first, because sometimes the market will go off of the chalk and flip, sometimes it'll go off the flip. You don't control those things. And it's not going to be one of those things that you're always going to specifically get always right. But statistically, if you got the right direction, then maybe you might get in with the wrong entry. But for instance, you might be able to still make it up if you have a wider stop loss, or you might be able to get re-enter and still enter the same direction because it just goes to mitigate at a higher space. So give me 1 second, guys. Let me share my screen. Okay, can y'all see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can see it, Brent.
Perfect. All right, so let's go first and go look at GBP USD. And sorry, I keep pausing, guys. I'm trying to look at the question that was asked too, so I can see exactly where we were. 1830 UTC time. And I would say another thing too, make sure to guys, make sure to share not just your M1 charts, because for M1, it's not you need to show your higher time frame, because that's how we can tell if you got direction and market structure right to begin with. So looking at GBP USD today, just overall, I'm just going to start with a higher time frame because that's where you get your narrative from. Your direction really is going to come from your higher time frame. So it's been making highs. So it made a higher high last. It's past a higher low. Today was making a higher high. So it's direction wise, it's going up because it still hasn't finished making its higher high. Right. So we know from a direction wise, more than likely buying is the only direction we should be going today. So just off of direction alone, I mean, this market structure is not bearish. It was bullish. So it's always going to be based on your higher time frame. Now, let's pull down to the 15-minute. Well, when we started the day was somewhere started, let's see, over here. Okay, so starting with the London session for me starts right here at 2 o'clock. It was going up from this point here. And I'm trying to look at your chart just to be able to see what time was 18:15. Is your time on your chart in UTC? Emmy? Okay, I'm looking at your chart here. Okay, perfect. 15-minute. Give me 1 second, everybody. I'm looking. Okay, so is this the March 22nd? Give me 1 second, guys, while I compare spots. Okay, price. So the area that we were looking at was right here. All right. So price made an unconfirmed lower low earlier in the last week, right? And where, let me take the trade, was right here. Now, it had still made an unconfirmed lower low. So we have this spot that could be potential supplies where Omi was looking at, right? So I'm just going to mark this as supply for M15. But I'm going to go back and look at the 4 hour to see what the 4 hour was doing, right? So the 4 hour had already made, let's see, around this point. I don't know if it was confirmed yet. Let's see. And it made a confirmed higher high. So the market structure shows us from a lower low to a higher high. Price had already pulled back. So this was the part where it was going down, even though we're in an uptrend. That's why I say direction is different than market structure, because the market structure is bullish. But if price on the 4 hour makes a higher high, it has to pull back to make a higher low. So the short-term direction will be down, but the long-term direction is up because we're in a market structure uptrend. That's why I say direction and market structure are actually two different things. So at this point, was it wise for us to be taking a sell? No, it still wasn't, because price had already made a pullback and price is coming up to the last point where it made a higher high. It already made one touch into this area. So if you wanted to treat this last higher high as, like, for instance, a supply, it had one touch, it went in, it's going up. Yes, you could have taken the sell, but the sell isn't the highest probability because over the 4 hour where it was going, it pulls back and then it blasts right through, which is what it ended up doing for today. So even though it was unconfirmed as a lower low, price really possibly could have not been going that far because you're seeing price come up higher and higher from these times. Now, let's just go down to the 1 minute just to look at the entry. So here we are in the 1 minute. Price ends up making a chop and a flip here. So somewhere in this region is a low and it breaks through to create this high. If you would go to take this chalk and flip, you would have taken a loss here. Okay, let's look at the next chalk and flip that it had. So I wouldn't have treated anything until we got to here. So price comes over here to make a new break using wicks. Price comes down here and breaks it with the wicks to low. You could have used multiple regions. This is the largest area you could have used. But if you would have used this chalk and flip and you would have taken this trade, this one actually would have been a successful trade. And if you don't take, for instance, that chalk and flip, you also could have taken this flip zone that would have happened here because price ends up coming to break this last low and creates a new flip. But if you start taking flips down here, this is too low in the leg for me to even consider a trade. So you wait till it comes back up here. You could have had this trade going. This one at least gave you a 1 to 5. And you could have also doubled it and taken a second trade when it came back to this flip zone, not a chalk and flip, but just a flip. And you could have also got a 1 to 5 trade. So it's not exactly that I would say that you're getting wrong the chalk and flip. It's not like waiting for flip zones. You can wait for a second flip if that gives you more reassurance in taking a trade. Chalk and flip is kind of the earliest indication of a trend change. But there's statistically, you can take this and potentially get it wrong, especially if you're going against the direction of where the market is going. You're probably going to take a couple more hits before you take something that's eventually going to go against the trend. Anything you want to add to it, Nathan?
No, definitely hit it spot on the head. Chalks in general, it's a potential reverse in trend. It doesn't mean that trend is definitely going to reverse. It can chalk, 100 times, but if you don't have everything in order, like Brian was going through there, a chalk can mean nothing at the end of the day, So in the right place, the right time, underneath the right narrative, it's going to work. Well, we hope it's going to work. It has a higher probability of working compared. But definitely, Brian, spot on.
And then I just saw somebody raise their hand, but can you ask your question in the chat? I can't exactly remember who it was specifically.
What, did someone do that on the screen? Is it?
Yeah, I saw somebody ask a question. I think it was.
Yeah, it was me. I'm going to write in the chat.
I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time?
It's fine. I'll write in the chat. It was me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead and write in the chat, guys, and I'll try to answer this. But Elmi, did that answer your question regarding chalks and flips? I want to make sure that your question got answered. Let's see. Okay. All right. And then the next question, can you show us how you would have traded yesterday on Euro USD? It was a bit confusing for me. Okay, well, let's take a look at Euro USD. So Oh, wrong pair. Okay. Oh wait, here's the question. Your second entry on there, GU has no chalk, so is it okay to re-enter as there's no confirmation? Well, yes, because it wasn't about chalk, it was about a flip. So there's chalks and flips, guys, and then there's just regular flips. So the first zone that we had was, and I'm gonna draw this really quick with a line chart. So price made a high, price comes back and it makes another high and it goes and it breaks. So, and then the second one is it breaks here, right? So the first entry that I showed y'all, if I can find my tools, was based upon this being an entry. And then the second one I showed you was based upon this, right? So this one right here is an example of chalk and flip. This one right here is just a flip. So that's just a secondary flip zone. It's okay to enter on a flip. The way I always think about it is that if I'm treating this whole thing like a leg, then from the high of this leg to the low of this leg, I'm not taking any entries that's in equilibrium. So therefore, price ended up making an entry. It went from this low to this high. It comes down and it, oh wait, I missed something in between. Hold on a second, guys. It goes from this low to this high with a wick, comes back and makes this low, goes to make this high, it breaks. So there's our chalk. It comes over here, it comes down, it breaks again, and it does something kind of similar like this, but that's just monotonous. And then price comes all the way back into my zone. So I'm only going to take, for instance, this flip zone entry or this chalk entry. I'm not taking entries down here because if I look at the whole leg down, this whole leg, all this is equilibrium until it comes up to here. Now we're in our premium price. And if I'm selling, I want to sell in premium. I don't want to sell in a discount, but that's just the way I have my rule set up. So that's why it's okay to take those. All right. Now, let me get back to the question on EU. So first things first, you have to start with your higher time frame. So where is today? Today's 22nd, 21st. 20. Okay, perfect. So from a market structure standpoint, price was making higher high, right? Price it made a higher high, but price is going down. So now we have an expectation, if we know supply and demand, if you start with the last higher low to last higher high, price is coming into more than likely a demand zone that's somewhere within, hopefully outside of equilibrium. So we have pretty much a zone here that I would look at. This would be my demand zone for H4. And then if you look at this wick definitely had some type of demand that popped into it. So there definitely was something there in the second spot. Not you messing up too.
I think the screen froze.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Brian. I think your screen's frozen there.
It probably lagged out or something.
That's internet down connection. Definitely.
Not enough profits.
Let's see. I'll just send him a little text here on Groove. I think his internet's crashed. I'll just take over quickly. Any questions from you guys?
Yeah, I put a link on my chart on there just to go over my trade.
You want? Do you want to share it?
Yeah, up on my screen.
I think you can. Why? Maybe because his screen's still up. You might not be able to.
Oh wow! I haven't
put the link on the chart.
Brian, could have swore I heard him there.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, I will have a question for both of you about the retracement of the market. For example, if you say there is a direction clearly where it's going, there should be some type of retracement. How do you measure that? I'm wondering.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No worries. So I'll show you now. I'll just share my screen. Oh God, Brian's the host, so I can't actually share the screen. Well, basically, what it is, man, is we take the low and the high, right? So the swing leg. So, for example, if you start on the 4 hour, you'll have a swing low and a swing high point. So you take your Fibonacci tool out, and the 50%, right? The equilibrium is where we expect price to come back to retrace to at minimum anyway. There's times that it can go deeper into discount where it can
Sorry,
go
guys.
lower.
My computer decided to do some funky stuff. And
No
so
worries.
now I had to switch to my other computer. But give me 1 second. Let me turn my audio back on.
No worries. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
Folks?
I was doing the same thing on EU today because it twice retraced and it moved to the 50% or less, a bit less, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll notice that it'll happen on the 4 hour, it'll happen on the 15-minute, it'll happen on every single time frame. Well, it'll expand, right? There's an expansion, then a retracement to at least 50%, then another expansion. It can go lower or it can go higher depending if it's bullish or bearish, but always have that in mind. And that way you can easily, get into trades that are in discount or in premium, depending on the direction. And you can keep an eye as well on the 4 hour of where you expect it to go when you're in the 15, while you're trading the 15. You kind of are able to plan ahead by using the retracement of the 4 hour. Like if you look at EU, it happened quite perfectly, making higher highs, higher lows, and retracing constantly back towards the equilibrium level before continuing ahead. So EU was actually really, really perfect to see that.
Okay, and by the way, about the 4 hourly of EU. So we take the lower high of the swing, and we take the last demand zone, like lowest point, and we just measure that. I could send you maybe, but you can do that.
Not the last demand zone. It'll be the last swing low. So the lowest point that you had. Yeah, send me a
I
link there.
understand that. Yeah. Okay. So you look at 50% for that?
Yeah, 50% would
Or
be
above?
the equilibrium. So
no,
minimum would be 50. Now, look, don't get me wrong. It can come down to 40 and then take off. But we do tend to, see price come at least to 50 or below before taking off again, Anything can happen in this market.
Yeah. And also, I think the daily zone was the one that we reacted off, so it should give maybe a stronger retracement, no?
Exactly. So if you look at the daily, right, you'll see it actually in my trade recap later on. It's coming up on Discord. We tapped into a daily, and we are now on our third tap of the daily supply. So most likely this supply is going to fail because it failed to put in any new lows, and we are bullish on the 4 hour. So exactly what you were saying there about the impulse move down and coming back to approximately 50. Yeah, you're totally right on that. I actually got my 50 up here, and you're right. Exactly. Spot on 50, right? Brian.
All right. Appreciate you stepping
You're
in.
back.
I'm back in the flesh.
Good.
What was the next question? The questions got disappeared from me since I had to restart my computer.
The 4 hour, he was asking you to go over the trade for Euro USD yesterday. That was the one you were on.
Oh, okay, cool. And what was the question after that?
The question after that was the one you explained about the second entry.
Okay. And then let's see. Going one further. What's next? What's next after that? I can't see the original chat list. My chat window went away, so
I just
you
my chart so you can go over it.
you mind re-saying that one more time? And this going unfortunately, guys, it's going to be the last question we'll answer. So if we didn't get a chance to answer your questions, please do one of two things: either message us in the questions part of Discord, or hold those questions until next time. We'll make sure to definitely get to it. So can you, Isaac? Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, Isaac's chart pulled up on the memento. Now, what was your question, Isaac, regarding the chart?
I just wanted to go over today's trade because it like wicked out on me afterwards.
Okay.
I don't know why I hit like the previous zone that it hit.
Sure. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna let you share your screen, and then we'll walk through it and annotate on your screen. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So go ahead. You should be able to share now. Perfect. All right. So the first thing I always look at is 4 hours. So on the right-hand side, do you mind going to your 4-hour chart? All right.
What the hell? Oh.
All right. So this is the trade I was looking for today that I happened to miss. So we got
something happened to the chart.
okay.
Okay, so let me just copy this.
Okay.
Make sure you put your lunchbox in the comfortable.
Okay.
All right. So
And your backpack.
from
So is it 4 hour here?
okay. So it looks like you have the 4 hours bullish. Now, price bumped into your 4 hour, it tapped into your 4 hour zone right here, right? But look at this move. It made a move to make a chalk. And so essentially, price is coming back into this internal demand zone, possibly go down here. So direction wise, even though price is bullish, I'm expecting on M15 to go down. So the market structure is bullish, but the direction I'm looking for is actually bearish. So now that's how I would look at the market. Now let's go look at your M15. You have something that would support your theory, right? So what do you? So
15 on the left.
okay, so we got 15 on the left, and the day started pretty much somewhere around right here. So that's what I'm talking about, just London market, right? So you have bearish impulses that are strong. You identified. So where was your M15 POI that price tapped into when you took in your trade? Okay. So you identified, this is the M15 chalk right here. That's right here. Okay. So you have your chalk, and then you identify your.
That was a 1 minute chart.
But that was a 1 minute chalk. But
Yeah, this one.
where is your M15 chalk or M15 POI? Is it this right here?
M15 was, on market structure, I had this from here to here, this whole section for sales. So my initial one was up here, but then you see how it whipped out over here.
Mhm.
So I was trying to catch a continuation down here, going down to the 4 hour demand.
Well, I think that may be part of the issue, because you need to have some type of M15 POI in this region that's going to support your entry, because it's possibly why you got wicked out. The direction was right, but you didn't have a strong POI to bounce it off. So, but
Brian,
Huh?
could you tell him the measure there that with the fib, the high and the low that the market structure marked up, and see where he entered?
It was
The high and the low of your market structure, the M15. You got the two dots, the purple dots.
yeah.
Measure that leg. No, the last one. Measure the leg. Yeah. Measure the leg with your fib down to the low. No, your fib.
Okay. That's not the 50 in the middle.
Go carry it down. Bring it down. To under the no. Go back up. Go back up. Go back up, please. Go back up.
You're talking about this one right here?
Yeah. That one. This one right here. This one.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me clear my drawings. Oh no, this one. Put it under this one.
That's not the leg though.
Oh, yeah, the leg is from here to here. Okay.
It's from this top here to here.
Yeah. And you were you selling in discount though.
Yeah, right here. It's like the middle, the equilibrium.
Yeah, I got you.
So you took it in equilibrium, which, that's a dangerous place to play in. Price can go up, price can go down, and price also wicked you. But you didn't have an M15 POI to support you even taking a sell there. And that's why it wasn't a safe entry for you to take. So this entry right here was what I actually missed today, which I was not want to say fuming about, but I was like disappointed that I missed it. But once price came through, broke with a body, came through, and I know that there was supply here, you probably would have seen a clean entry right here as compared to here. You're taking it, but you're in the middle of a very dangerous space without something to support even your trade idea.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. I guess it was because I was going from the M1 here, and I guess I was trying to follow the M1 when it came down here, and that's what I was at.
Yeah. Now that's a trap of M1, guys. You start looking at M1, it'll make you think of things, and that's why it's an important thing to make sure, guys, y'all go back into your trading plan and make sure that you follow it step by step by step. So if you want to do continuations, you still can do continuations, but there's a way to do it. But you got to make sure that it all follows your plan. But without really a higher time frame point of reference where price is going to go, you kind of shoot a little bit in the dark as to where your price where you should be entering and stuff like that, because you don't have anything that's really higher time frame to support what lower time frame is doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the trap. What do you think, Nathan?
Exactly. Higher time frame is the most important thing here. And once you get that right, then things become a hell of a lot easier.
Yep.
So would this wick would have been like a breaker block from here, basically, kind of because it went shot right through it.
It could be. I mean, it could be. It fits. It fits there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But even so, with this, if you look at from this leg and you have it go all the way down to here, run a fib from there to there.
This does not go in the fridge.
From where? From here?
Yeah, those two black lines. That I did. Even so, this is still almost near equilibrium. Why? And that's the reason why I would have waited. I would have taken the trade. Still stuck in that area. I like
gold is another one that goes for the extremes, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. I tend to anything between 60 and 40. I don't try to take trades in that area because historically I've seen that it doesn't. I'm gonna either end up 50-50 on those trades. But if I can get trades above that 60 or below that 40, historically I can get a pretty good 70-80% win rate.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
All part of your back testing. Go back and see out of 100 times, how many times does it turn true? And that's what helps you make those decisions that make it.
Yeah, and you know what? You see on your 15-minute chart, you're talking about that there wick, right? We're trying to figure out what the hell is this responding to. I bet you if you go down to maybe 14-minute, 13-minute, 12-minute, 10-minute, you'll probably find something in there, man. Any money. That's okay. Nothing on, what's that, 10-minute? Like if you flick through them, you'll have to add them as well. But yeah, definitely flick through them, man, and you'll be surprised. You might just see a small, sell to buy wicks.
Just type 10 and press enter. Type 10. Press 10 on your keyboard and press enter.
I'm on 10 minutes.
Oh, type in.
Type in.
Type 4. Yeah, type it in. Type in. Yeah, press enter.
Oh, nice.
14. Let's see, 13. Let's count down. And there maybe we have something there. Was there? No. 11. No. Well, maybe something on 13 there. Was there? those cell that doesn't just get to it, doesn't know, right? Sometimes you'll find things like that. If it's not a breaker block, it could be.
I think it
just
was a
some
breaker
cell
block error. That's what I could think of, but there's reactions here, right? So that wouldn't count.
Definitely counts for something. It could be even on the 5 minutes if you want to go that low. Like I wouldn't even look at the 5 minutes, but you know,
Imbalance.
Still in balance. All right. we tried.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
No worries, man.
All right, everyone. I'm sorry to have to end these end the questions, but like I mentioned, if you haven't already and you didn't get a question answered, please go into the questions part of Discord. Leave any questions that you didn't answer, or hold them and for the next time, and we'll be able to discuss those. And then also, guys, remember this recording is going to be up for 48 hours, so definitely get a chance to review this a couple of times before the 48-hour limit. And we look forward to seeing you all in the next office hours. So thank y'all so much.
Thanks, guys. See you again.
Thanks.
Thanks.